Welcome to the Chaos Commitment. We're Jared and Courtney.
Around here, commitment doesn't mean everything's perfect. It means we show up for each other, even in the chaos.
Welcome back to the Chaos Commitment. Today we're talking about gender roles. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
This is kind of a heated topic. This is take 17. All right, it's not. But we do feel like this is one that we need to talk about and share. And we're going to start with our reflection question.
Yeah.
We left our audience with. So what does it say?
Which household role or responsibility do you actually enjoy doing?
Ooh, that's interesting. What did you say?
I thoroughly enjoy doing laundry. Unless it doesn't end up being put away the same day, then I hate it. I like vacuuming. I like organizing and creating systems in our home that actually work. Most of the time, I enjoy the cooking. I like creating the fancy dinners. And if someone else can just decide what we cook every night, that would be great. What'd you put?
Well, that's good because I do not like doing laundry or cooking, even though I've done both at times in our marriage.
Yeah.
I put peeling vegetables, bathing children, and this isn't like directly tied to something. It is, but a clean kitchen is a great feeling.
Yeah.
I don't love doing the work that goes into that most times, but just seeing it clean is a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
And then we put Kano on the high chair and the whole floor's a disaster 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have that feeling.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I also love that you like giving the kids a bath. I know I should like that more, but I hate the feeling of like my socks being wet, my clothes getting wet. I hate leaning over the bathtub because my back always hurts. So I know I should enjoy that more, and I've found other ways to connect with them, but I'm really grateful when you take that on.
Well, you're pregnant. It's a lot harder for you to bend
That's
over
true.
and bathe the kids than me.
Yeah.
So I'll take that on for at least a couple more weeks.
Thanks. Getting into our topic today on gender roles. Hopefully we don't start a fight, but I think we're in a really good place. So
let's go with that. Let's talk about where did we come from? What were gender roles like for us growing up? Do you want to start?
Sure. I feel like we had a very traditional gender role family. My mom always did the cooking. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for most of our childhood until my sister went to kindergarten and then she started working. I know she took on all of the house stuff, all of the cooking. My dad did do lots of different things in the kitchen with my mom, like grating the cheese or like making sure we cleaned up our dishes and stuff. But I feel like a lot of that was placed on my mom, and she was happy to do it. She always seemed happy to do it, anyways. So when it came to me and my siblings, I feel like there were certain things that we had to work together on, but we did have those traditional roles. My brothers always were expected to do the trash on trash day. Like, I never was asked to do that. If we were doing like yard work, my sister and I would have the choice. Do you want to stay inside and clean up the house and get started on dinner? Or do you want to work outside? But I don't know if my brothers ever had that choice. Maybe they did, and I just don't remember. But for me, I feel like that was kind of the dynamic.
So was there anything that the girls did that the boys weren't expected to do?
Now that I can really think of, like, nothing really comes to mind. I feel like I played with my younger siblings more because we had my aunt and uncle that lived super close, just across the yard, and their kids were so much younger than us. Like, their oldest was 10 years younger than me, so I would babysit for them. I don't think they ever would have asked my brothers to babysit for them.
I think a fair amount of that comes into you were the oldest child also.
Sure. How do you feel like things were in your home? Because both of your parents worked, right?
It seemed like there was a lot of the same traditional gender roles like you explained in your household. I didn't see that with my own mom and dad, but I did see that with my mom and her husband after that. It's funny. I just had this story come to mind actually. We were working on the new house. My mom moved into a new house. Since it was a newer house, there were a lot of things to be done. And I remember this story. My stepdad was like, I need the hammer, just like toss it over here. She's like, toss it? And he's like, yeah, just toss it over here and I'll grab it. And she tossed it, and it went right through the windshield on the truck.
Oh
no! So maybe that shaped gender roles a little bit moving forward from there. Like she doesn't get the hammers. But okay, so I'm more like the household stuff. It seems like my mom took care of the majority of the dinners and the cleaning, but we were all involved in it. It seems like we'd stray away from it, but we'd always come back to me, my brother, and my stepdad each having a night to make dinner, like once a week. And we were all involved in cleaning the house. Both of them worked full-time jobs and often a lot of extra hours on top of that. So as my brother and I were getting older, we learned to do a lot of things for ourselves. A lot of nights we were making meals for ourselves. Maybe not the best nutritious meals, but we got through it. Sometimes it'd be a can of this and a can of that. Yeah, so there was a fair amount of traditional roles in that, my stepdad took care of all the car stuff, all the fixing, all the outside work, as you mentioned. And while we shared the load for the inside stuff, it was still my mom sort of heading up those things. Let's move forward to when we got married.
Yeah.
Our early marriage life. What was the division in gender roles when we first got married? We were both working full-time jobs. But as far as how we divided things elsewhere, what did that look like?
Yeah, I still expected you to take on the cars. And I remember having a flat tire and you were on a work trip and the car just sat until you got back.
I remember this.
Because I was like, I'll just take your car and I'm not touching that until you get back. So when you get back, expect to have this task to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think we talked in a previous episode that I really put emphasis on being this really good wife and mother, and I really wanted to do that, and moving into our first apartment was really special to like get to try that on, get to fill those shoes. But we were both working a lot and we worked a really weird schedule. And so things really did slip through the cracks. There were nights that I would work where you would be home and I'd come home to like a whole clean apartment and dinner. And you had to have worked the entire time that I was working a night shift.
Oh, so it wasn't clean when you left?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I think I had to realign my expectations a little bit of what I could do and not feel insecure with you doing more than I ever really envisioned as a wife. So, are there any tasks that you feel like you should never have to do or you would prefer not to have to do, or vice versa?
I don't even remember doing laundry in the apartment.
Really?
I don't remember you doing it. I don't remember me doing it. Maybe that says very loudly you did all of it. I don't know.
I just remember that time in the rain that, we had been.
Ooh, yeah. What a fun one.
Yeah, I just remember that time we had gone to the park and we're like just out on a walk hanging out, and then it started raining and it got pouring rain on us as we were walking home. So we like ran home as fast as we could and we just immediately like took our clothes off and threw them in the wash because they were soaked. So that's the only laundry I really remember doing.
That's the only laundry I remember too. Maybe we just didn't do it in the 2 years we got married. I don't know.
Somebody had to do it.
We probably stopped.
Neither one of us remember doing it. So the apartment was so special though. It was such a small space to manage. And so us with our schedules, our busy life, our newlywed bubble we were in, it was just like such a small like taste of what that would be like.
Yeah.
And then we moved in with Nana and Papa where we had to do very, very little.
we had a unique experience because we live with your grandparents, but we also kind of flipped the norm on gender roles in
Yeah.
that the company I was working for closed the entire plant where I worked. So I was out of work and you were still working. And we were also expecting Stryker to be born not long after that. And it put this in this dynamic where we changed roles. I don't think a lot of marriages go through this. Maybe I'm wrong, but to completely just flip the roles, right? So you were working full time, and I was staying home with Stryker, and I took on all the laundry. We live with your grandparents, so she insisted on doing all the meals.
Mm-hmm.
We did some once in a while, but she was doing that. I was doing the limited cleaning in our spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I cleaned up their spaces a lot too. Like we were contributing. It's not like
Yeah.
we were just,
Yeah.
this is your guys' stuff.
Yeah.
But I was taking on most of that. And then on your days you were off, you took on all the parenting. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'll go do homework because you're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, you also helped with firewood so much during that time that we
Oh,
were
that's true.
there, which was such a manly outdoor job that you had to
Oh, yeah,
do.
that's definitely a man's
So,
chore.
yeah, you're assigned that one. But you took on a lot of that while we lived there, those 2 to 3 years. You were a full-time student, so you did have a full plate also. You weren't just freeloading it in our grandparents' house.
I
And
guess I was getting paid, huh?
yeah, yeah, you were still doing a lot. And I know it was really difficult, at least for me, to work these 3 days, these 3 12-hour shifts with a 1 hour commute and not see Stryker for longer than 15 minutes a night. And then I would go into these days off and I would have to ask you, like, well, what time should I put him down? What has he been eating lately? Like, does he like this? Does he do this? What do you guys do now? Like, it was so difficult for me because I had built up this image in my head of what motherhood and wifeyhood would look like. And we had a different situation. We were happy to have that experience. It was full of so many blessings. We'll never take that time for granted that we got to live with Nana and Papa and learn from them and be closer to them. I do think it pushed both of us out of our comfort zones when it comes to gender roles, though. And we really had to redefine, why have I equated this to something that I need to do versus you? And why have I placed so much value on me being a good mom if I know XYZ or if I'm doing this for Stryker?
I do remember doing laundry every single Monday when we lived with your grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you'd come home and it was almost every time I'd have everything washed, dried, folded, put away.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some days you'd come home and something would happen. I'd forget to move things over or whatever. And I would feel like really bad about that. I guess that was the stay-at-home parent mentality that I had, but I was like, you should never come home and not have this done. I
Mm-hmm.
remember telling you that several times, actually. I definitely remember really taking that on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something, I think you were still working 12 hours a day, 3 days a week. So on your days off, you could have easily done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just said, I'm doing this because you're working.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it worked for us. I don't think there's any gender role task that is set in stone.
Yeah.
Maybe some are. So some are for some couples, right? Even for us,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, vehicles.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no anticipation of taking that over anytime
Mm-mm.
soon.
No.
So I guess there are some that are set in stone, but I do think most of them can be adopted by the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Or, a portion of it could be done by the other side, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's easy to place too much value in certain tasks over another. And for what purpose? Why do we do that? Well, I think you kind of hit it on the, what do they say? You kind of hit it the nail on the head. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
When you said, like, oh, well, you're working. I must be able to do all this while you're gone so that my value is not depreciated because you're doing all of this amazing stuff that I can't claim or contribute or but like that's simply not even true. You were already taking on so much, doing school, helping Nana and Papa, taking care of Stryker all day. And on the rare chance that you didn't get all the laundry put away, you shouldn't have felt like, oh, I failed to measure up to what you accomplished today. And I think I've had similar mindsets. I mean, we've talked about this because I'm home with the kids now. And I think society has kind of ingrained that in us. And traditionally, that's been passed down generationally because when women weren't really allowed in the workplace or weren't wanted in the workplace and women didn't want to be in the workplace, they just wanted to raise their children, they did take on so much. They did tackle so much in a day, and they felt that that's how they contributed and how they had self-worth and how they had value. I don't think that's the world that we live in now. And so it takes a little bit of conscious effort to deconstruct. Well, I didn't get as much accomplished today, and now you have to come home to a mess. I don't want to have to burden you with helping me, even though like you don't mind helping because you live here too. And these possessions, these things, these tasks, they're your responsibility too. Just like they were mine. It was my laundry to come home to put away. And it was nice that on 4 weeks out of 5, you had them put away, but it didn't diminish your contribution if once in a while I had to take care of my own laundry, you know?
Well, it was never you taking care of your own laundry. It was this still needs to be done, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't like I'm saving all your stuff for when you come home.
Yeah.
But I think you bring up a really important point, which is as soon as you start keeping score,
Mm.
you're no longer in a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a partnership, and someone's always going to win,
Yeah.
and the marriage is going to lose, right?
Yeah.
So I do think it's a matter of I'm working, and wherever my partner is, whether I'm the one home or I'm the one at work, I need to know my partner is doing what they need to do to take care of themselves and to contribute
Mm-hmm.
in whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Because that's what marriage is. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to believe that. And I had a conversation with a coworker the other day, and I just said, I never have to worry about my wife. She is so ambitious. Like, I would never question anything. I'll get home sometimes and you will be, I guess, bothered. Like, I didn't get this done. Sorry. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't have to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you did, that is what needed to be done. I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that. Again, it's just we don't need to keep score. There's no need for that. We need to believe that our partner is in this with us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you succeed, then we succeed. If I succeed, then we succeed,
Yeah.
And there's no division there
Mm-hmm.
because we're in it together.
Yeah. Thank you for saying those things. That was really sweet.
Let's talk about after we moved into our own home. Because again, things really flipped backwards. I graduated with my degree and I immediately started working. We had Raiden a few months before I graduated, and you'd almost completely stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So the birth of Raiden and then me graduating school happened within a few months of each other, as well as a ton of other life events. But so I mean, our whole lives changed, right? In that
Mm-hmm.
1 year, like we had a close death. You stopped working, I started working. We had a birth. We moved into a new house. I mean, everything you could have, like a
Yeah.
life event, happened. And So I went back to work. You started adjusting to this new, I'm the stay-at-home parent.
Yep.
And I'm sure there was a bit of an adjustment there, which you can talk about if you want, but I kind of want to jump into when we moved into our own house because I
Yeah,
think
me too.
that's when the big change happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we still lived in Anna and Papa, so we still had a lot of support, even with you going back to work and me stopping working and having another baby. My family was super close and super supportive. And so, yes, it was a transition and it was difficult, but I do feel like the big transition was moving to this house because we went from having our little apartment that we loved, that we shared this space with, that we kind of both took on, to now not having a whole lot of household responsibility, to now managing a 3-floor mansion. This is our dream home. And
Okay, take it easy. We don't live in a mansion.
feels like it.
We live in a nice home.
We do, yeah.
But when we moved in, the four of us at the time, us two and Stryker and Raiden, there was kind of a lot of house. But the biggest part of that was you wanted to make it our own house. So you wanted to paint the whole house and you wanted to do a lot of work to say this is ours. This isn't the house of the previous owners.
Yeah,
So you were taking on a lot while also taking on, oh, there's also these household chores I'm not used to doing for a lot of house.
Yep.
And like it's just me and the kids all day. And what else went into that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. Like we look
A whole new system,
yeah.
right? Our own kitchen, not sharing with anybody.
Yep.
Laundry in a whole different position. Like even just all of the clothes is accumulated on the top floor and they all have to come down to the bottom floor.
Literally, like those first couple weeks we lived here, because Raiden was still a baby and I had bottles downstairs in the kitchen, I think I took like 40 flights of stairs every day because I would be like, oh, I left this in the kitchen. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do this. I literally would just go up and down the stairs all day long because all the bedrooms were either upstairs and in the basement, and all the main floor was just like kitchen, laundry room, living areas.
And I remember you complaining about this when we first moved in. And I said, I warned you about this when we moved in. There's a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
And I made sure I got your buy-in before we actually moved in.
But this is like our dream home. When we were house shopping, when we were looking for something we could grow into, that we could stay in for a long time. And this is a little bit of an older home, but not that old. We still wanted to come into it and make it ours, knowing we're going to live here for a very long time. We're going to grow our family here. We're going to have events here. We're going to have family here, and
We've
holidays.
Already done a lot of those things.
Yeah. And so we took the time to paint every room, to do all the repairs, to make it our own. We bought all new furniture because we had basically nothing. We had a bed, and Stryker had a bed, and we had a crib. That was basically it. My parents gave us a dining room table. That was our childhood kitchen table. So yes, that was the big adjustment. Was we had a lot we wanted to do on this new forever home that we loved. I wasn't used to being the stay-at-home parent, and now I have 2 children. I am getting into the routine of managing just daily household chores and finding systems to put in place so I'm not taking 20 trips up and down the stairs every day. And it was an adjustment period. And then we finally found that rhythm and we had another baby.
Well, and that's a big adjustment on its own, where it was me with Stryker, and then you then became the primary caretaker, and I was mostly removed in taking on a full-time job.
Right.
And you didn't come into just the one, you came into the toddler phase and a newborn baby. And yeah, it was definitely a lot to take on. Aside from changing roles, did we have any gender roles that formed after we moved in the house?
I do think that I was finally able to like experience this motherhood dream that I had created for myself. And so I just wanted to do everything. I wanted you to come home to a clean home. a happy family, a home cooked meal. I wanted to do all that and I wanted you to be so proud of me. I remember you started working from home very quickly after we got moved into the house.
Yeah.
And I was almost annoyed with you. Like, I don't want you to know what I'm doing all day because how are you going to be proud of me when you come home if you already know like what I've been doing all day? And if I choose not to get ready until 4 p.m. when you're going to be home at 5 p.m., like it was like removing this like fantasy facade that I had created that you were just going to be so proud of me and not really know what I had accomplished throughout the day. You were just going to be so happy that the house was clean, the kids were happy, I was happy, and there was a hot meal on the table. And I would
Oh, that sounds
leave.
like a dream come true.
Well, I thought so. I just didn't want you to know what I did all day. I just wanted you to come home and be really happy and be really proud of me. And as I took on more, I feel like I would be like, I can do this. I can wake up earlier. I didn't want you to have to do things. One, because I felt my self worth would have been diminished, which was stupid. And also because it felt like I wasn't contributing enough where you were working full time and I went from working to not working at all if it meant that you had to come home after working all day and like take on some of these things that I didn't get accomplished. And so I would wake up earlier and earlier thinking like I just got to get more done. I got to get like more accomplished within the day. And that was silly of me and it caused a lot of burnout and resentment and we had to kind of like dig ourselves back out of a hole and like really start removing that facade, I guess. I had to be more like honest with myself on reality, on the expectations I'd placed on myself and how they weren't warranted and they weren't helpful. And so I think now where we're at with gender roles, it's just so like silly and so much more of an open conversation. And it's just taken a lot more self awareness and willingness to be honest with myself and also not be fragile with my self worth.
Do you feel like with our changed roles over time, that makes us appreciate the other more?
Yeah.
Or maybe less?
Yeah, I do. I think you being home with Stryker, I appreciate that time so much because I feel like like you said, you already know I'm being so ambitious in the day. I'm getting done the most important things in the day. I don't know if you would have that perspective. Maybe you would have. But I think being home with a young child and knowing how much it takes to pour into them, to manage their emotions, to stay on their routine, I feel like I felt better supported when it was my turn to do those things because you had kind of already experienced that also. So I do think us changing roles, changing positions in that way has helped us have more empathy towards each other.
There's a couple things I remember from when I was in that role that I feel full of gratitude and appreciation for where you're at now.
Mm.
So, one is I remember when Stryker stopped napping. I just remember telling you, I need Stryker to nap or I can't do school. Stryker in that toddler phase, it was a full attention thing, it seemed like.
Mm.
And especially where we were in someone else's house, no
Mm-hmm.
matter how at home you feel, there's like a sense of, I don't know what he's going to break that's not mine, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I mean, now you have all these kids here. I just remember like going on a walk with Stryker, a mile plus walk, and halfway we'd get down that road and he'd like give up. I'd be like, hey, I'll carry you home and you'll fall asleep and you'll actually get a nap and I'll lay you down in your bed. The other thing is laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Like back then, it was laundry for you, me, and Stryker.
Mm.
Now we have another three kids,
Mm-hmm.
soon to be four kids on top of what I did back then. And again, there's also the idea of different floors and a different system and all that. So I definitely appreciate that. And we do all these things very different from each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's often difficult for me to step in and help you with laundry when I think to myself, I don't like how this is being done.
Same.
And that's the hard part in these different roles or designated responsibilities is it's often difficult to see someone else do it different from the way you would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a hot topic I've heard a lot of other couples bring up is how the dishwasher is loaded,
Yeah.
how clean the plates go in, right? There's a lot around that. But laundry is another one of those things where I've told you several times, if you want me to take on laundry, I will take on laundry, but I got to do all of it.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to do that and say, this is my thing, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
And you've been phenomenal at it, by the way.
Some days.
I get home at like 3 o'clock, and a lot of the time it's all done already. So that's very impressive.
Thank you.
And I do feel a lot of empathy for the things that you do.
Thank you.
Even though I know I don't express that gratitude enough, I really am grateful for all the things you do, and I know you work really hard on them. Well, there's one thing I was thinking of that maybe I didn't even realize would be my responsibilities as I got married and we owned our own home.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is taking care of the mice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have had a few mice problems.
So the first one was so memorable for me.
Yeah, me too.
We were sitting on the couch in. I mean, we'd lived here for several months, I think, before we had our first one.
Oh, I think it was over a year.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think it was like several years.
But I just remember the kids were in bed. Me and you were sitting in our living room. We were watching a show. All the lights were off, and I'm like, look at that! Like, there's this mouse crawling along the wall and just kind of stops there. I'm like, look at that. And you're like, what are you even looking at? I'm like, you're going to scare it off. Because I wanted you to see it more than anything. And anyways, we're just watching, and it finally did scurry off. And we must have had traps already because I got one and set it out.
Yeah, but remember it was too big. He could get the stuff off
That's
of it.
That's what it was.
And so we sat and watched him all night.
I set this trap and I set it out there. It wasn't all night. It was a few minutes, but we watched him. We watched him just creep up to it. It was like it was in slow motion. He creeped up to it, and he's just like getting the peanut butter, and he's like, it was as if he like would peek up his head over the trap to like look at us and be like, "Where are they at? What are they doing? Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was actually really cute.
it was a fun little moment for us.
Yeah.
And I guess we both had this understanding that I would take that on because we never really discussed it.
Yeah.
But I think there was this unspoken expectation that was my job. That was my role.
Yeah.
And I think I've taken it on pretty well.
Yeah, you have.
I've even helped some neighbors with some of their problems.
Yeah. I mean, we lived in a field. Like my childhood home was in a field. And so mice were not like an uncommon thing. We would get mice in the house. We would have to take care of mice problems. But like my dad and my papa, they took care of the mice. So I'm sure I was very much like, oh, we have a mouse in the house. Like, what are you going to do about this? Can you take care of this? And so that's the first encounter I feel like we had. Did you
ask me? Did you ever say, can you take care of this? Or was it more of a, you were going to take care of this?
Probably that one.
Probably.
But that was just the first encounter we had with a mouse. We've had others.
It was funny that you are always the one who finds them.
I know.
Like, you pulled a pot out of our cabinet and it was like staring at you in the face.
That was the same mouse. Because it was. I know anyways, that it was.
I was taking out the garbage. I was outside.
Yeah.
The door's closed. I was outside taking garbage out.
Yeah.
and I hear this death scream like, okay, somebody is dead. And I came running back in, and we were like, you've been gone for like an hour. I'm like, yeah, that 10 seconds was really long, huh? And anyways, you told me about the mouse, and I was like, it's fine. We'll clean that pot. We'll catch the mouse.
Yeah.
But like, you've had weird ones though. Like you were getting something off the washer or dryer, and your hand touched a mouse, and then it moved.
We need to stop. They're gonna think we live in a trash can.
All right, we'll stop there.
They're gonna be like, yeah, I've seen their house and their reels. They definitely have mice in
Oh
there.
my gosh, everybody gets mice. It's not a big deal.
So anyways, the point is we've had several mice. I can't sleep when there's mice though. Like I go into a manic clean, thinking like, how long has this mouse been in the house? What if it's been in this? What if it's been in that? What if we've been eating? Like, what if it's been in the pantry? Like I go into a manic clean when I see the mice.
You will lay in bed at night and the heat will come on, or you'll hear a water drip and you're like, there's a mouse.
Yeah. Once I've seen one. Yeah.
It's fine. It's not going to come attack you. It's not going to poison anything while you sleep. It's probably going to go find the trap, and it's going to be there in the morning.
Yeah, so the thing is, though...
There was one time you took care of a mouse after it was in the trap, though.
I was about to tell that one.
Okay.
The thing is, though, we have young kids. We have little dogs that we don't want to try to eat the peanut butter out of the trap and catch their tongue in a trap. And so when you would get up for work... It was like a whole process. Kids would go to bed, dogs would go to bed, we'd put all the traps where they needed to be, and then you would go to work and clean up all the traps.
They would be pretty strategically placed, so it would be extremely difficult for a child or a dog to get one.
Okay, well, my anxiety doesn't believe that. So we would clean them up every morning and replace them every night. And this one time... You left one out in the kitchen, and when I got up early morning, the kids and dogs hadn't gotten up yet. I was like, seriously, you left this mouse for me? Like, there's a mouse in this trap. I can't believe you would have left this. And you were like, I checked all the traps when I got ready to leave, and they were all empty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
So you're welcome. We've caught the mouse. Now, do you want to take care of it? And did I die from emptying that one mousetrap in the trash can? No, I did not.
Well, the way your video sounded, I was wondering if there was a death.
I mean, I was annoyed that I had to take care of it. But I did not die. Everything was fine. I was a big girl, and I took the mouse to the outside trash. So.
It's like you don't even need me anymore.
That's not true, honey. Who would I laugh about this with?
That's true.
But we haven't had a mouse in a really long time. Like we've gone a really long time.
When it starts getting cold outside, that's usually when they appear.
Well, it's my fault because it seems like it always happens after someone leaves the garage door open. Then we always end up finding one in the house. True. And so me, the kids, we have to ensure that we're closing the garage door tightly, because every time we've had an encounter with a mouse, it's been because we haven't discovered any other place that it's been able to get in.
Yeah, it's like, we're done with the flies, bring on the mice. We've talked a lot about, changing our roles. Is there anything that you have had to let go of and be okay with that? Maybe relinquishing the control was a big part of that.
Yeah, well, kind of to go back to my question to you at the beginning, anything that you felt like you should take on, I felt that way about grocery shopping. I was doing all the meal planning and the cooking, so it made sense to me. I should go to the store. I should be the one getting all the groceries. I am going to budget really well and know how much things cost so that we stay under budget. Yeah, that's not realistic. I don't do any of that. So I myself felt like, no, I should do that. I should be the one that goes to the store. I should be the one that does all the grocery shopping because I know what we're having. I'm doing the meals, I'm doing the meal planning, all of that. Going to the store with young children is like the most anxiety inducing activity for me. And I'm so sorry that my brain is this way. But truly, to tackle going to the store and getting all the groceries, and you've even offered, like, you can go when I get home. Do you want a break when I get home and go by yourself? And I'm like, no, because that means I have to be ready and I have to be presentable. And what if I run into somebody I don't want to talk to at the store? I don't want to be social with anybody.
Have I said a break?
I don't know if you use those exact words, but the point is the offer has always been there for me to go to the store alone if that's what I wanted. I don't know when I finally relinquished that control to you to go to the store for our family. It is night and day difference for me. It is such a burden lifted that I didn't even know was burdensome, really. And I mean, I feel like our kids are pretty well behaved in the store, so it wasn't even that primarily. It was just the mental load task of like, when am I going to be able to go? Do I actually have a list of everything that I need? Are we going to run out of milk before I can get to go? And all of that has been significantly removed from me. So primarily, I still do the meal planning. The kids help a lot. You help a lot with ideas. And we've created some systems that really help reduce the mental load in that capacity. And then I still compile a list, send you the list, and you stop on your way home from work, and it's beautiful. It's been a task that you can do literally more efficiently than I can, and I've had to really like relinquish that control to you and be like, why did I hang on to this for so long? I am not like less valued in my home. I am not worthless because I don't go to the store once a week and I don't know how much things cost at the store. Like,
but that is actually something I've always been really good at. Is
mm-hmm.
I know exactly like what price point is a good price.
Yeah.
If chicken is a certain price above normal, I know I'm not getting chicken that day, right? Like that's just something I know exactly how much I expect to pay every time I go to the store.
Yeah.
And so if the price seems inflated, I will buy less that week.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a significant drop in price, I will buy more.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just something that I have always been aware of.
It's a routine now. You go on Tuesday nights. The kids know, like, Dad's gonna be home with groceries today. They know, hey, Mom, Dad's going to the store tomorrow. Can you ask him to get us the yellow and white cheese? Because we don't want the white. We don't want the mozzarella cheese sticks. We want the yellow and white cheese. Can you ask Dad to get those cheese? Like, they are taking on some of the mental tasks.
It's also making them think about things I need, you know? And that's nothing but a good thing to help them realize what goes into some of these things.
Yeah. So for this example, I feel like it's so important to have that open communication and be honest with ourselves. Like, truly, for me, it was, why am I equating this silly task with so much value? And why am I feeling threatened by allowing you to take it on? Why do I feel like my value is depreciated? Why do I feel like I'm I'm not contributing enough if you take on this task? Because do you feel strained by going to the store every week for us?
So strained.
Yeah.
No. I actually enjoy taking a child with me to the store.
Yeah, I do miss that.
But it takes a lot of extra time to take just one.
Right, yeah.
So if you're taking 2 or 4 children with you, that is a difficult task.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can be really helpful, but for the most part, it's how much more time are they going to add?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I do want them to experience those different things, but like we kind of mentioned, like they're already experiencing it in a different way. They're already recognizing, Dad's going to the store tomorrow. Can I get this on the list? What can I like help plan for dinner? I feel like we get their input a lot. And they already know when they hear the garage door, they got to stop what they're doing. And they're so good about it. So, yeah, I think this is a good example and a good opportunity to sit down with your partner and say, what are you taking on that maybe I could take on? And Why won't you let me do that for us? I don't really know how we realigned that responsibility. All I know is it's great, and I don't know why I held on to it for so long and why I was so insecure about it.
I think you were often just overwhelmed with taking kids to the store,
Mm-hmm.
and I did keep pushing you. Like, I can stop on my way home. Prices are way better.
Yeah.
There's more availability. I don't have distractions. I can get it done much faster. And I think you finally said, okay, let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it easily became the new norm, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think as a society, we've come such a long way, truly. And so we as a couple have deconstructed some of those gender roles. And other couples, I hope, are starting to do the same. So, taking that first initial step of being honest with yourself and saying, this is such a mundane task. Am I placing too much value on it and why? And when you can be honest with yourself about that, you can also open dialogue between you and your partner on, I'm feeling really overwhelmed with this. Is there one that you feel like you would prefer to take on or that you could do better than me? That's easier said than done. I know that we've kind of fallen into this traditional trap and you have to kind of break free from that. But I promise you, once you do, you will find yourself so much happier. Like you said, there's so much better understanding because of the different times that we've kind of flipped and traded roles. There's so much more understanding for those times, like when I emptied the freaking mousetrap, you know, don't want to have to do it again, but I love when you do it. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you can take on things I do.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But there's actually one thing I do need you to take on, which is clogged and broken toilets. I'm gonna need you to step in on this one.
Oh, yeah. I don't think
It's something
so.
I've been holding on to for a long time, and I just finally need to let it go.
I mean, I've handled a few clogged toilets that I did not think I would have to do in my married experience. I thought if you flush and it doesn't go down, the next step is to go get dad. So when I got married, I thought if it doesn't go down, the next step is to go get your husband. So I have taken on that from time to time, especially with our 5 little boys that like to put too many toys or too much toilet paper in the toilet. I have ventured down that
We don't
road.
have time to get into that. That'll have to be a whole nother episode.
But as far as fixing them, that's still on you, babe.
It's all on me. I mean, there's not going to be a time where I'm home
Yeah.
and you want to use a toilet that
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the one taking care of it.
I love you.
But yeah, our big takeaway is there's so many changes that have happened in the past few decades that even though things were done traditionally a certain way in a past family experience. Most families are two-income households. There's, both partners are working. Some of this can shift and it can go either way. I mean, you've mowed the lawn here a few times.
Yeah.
And I've taken on a lot of things that maybe I didn't think I would have taken on, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you get caught up doing something and I'm like, hey, I'll throw dinner together.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's barely edible, but we get through it.
Come on. It's always great.
All right.
Yeah, I think opening the dialogue, having open communication with your partner around so many things, but this importantly, we've been able to have a lot of conversations. It's an ongoing conversation, it will never be done. And so being able to have those conversations with your partner of what's working, what's not working, and maybe if something worked in the past, it's not working anymore. And that's okay. You are in charge of how you choose to live your life and what works for your family unit. And so being able to communicate that and get on the same page with that, even if it's not overnight, even if it takes some trial and error, the outcome is so worth it. And we'll be having these conversations. I hope that other couples are having these conversations and just like we said, deconstructing things that didn't work in the past, because there's no need to hold on to things that no longer serve us. Okay, going into our reflection question for this week. I'm excited to do our next episode. It's on Brayden's birth, our second born. So for this question, we want to ask, have you ever been labeled or stereotyped incorrectly? And how did you move forward from it?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that with you. So thanks for talking to me about this today.
Yeah, that was actually a good one.
Yeah.
Really I hope we open a conversation to our audience to help them understand one another and not argue with one another.
Yeah, I hope so too. You'll have to let us know. Did you pick a fight or did you make some progress in your home? So, thank you, honey.
Woo. This has been the Chaos Commitment. Thanks for embracing the mess with us.
If you laughed, learned, or felt a little less alone, share this with a friend who gets it. Until next time, keep choosing each other through the chaos.